What is going on, baseball fans? Could we see Blake Snell being traded to the Seattle Mariners? Could we see Carlos Correa get traded this offseason? There's some rumblings out there. Could we see the return of Yasiel Puig? Let's not waste any time. Let's get to the news.
Wake up the Don Bambino and have me face him. Maybe I'll drill him in the ass.
And what is going on, baseball fans? We had some technical difficulties in the last stream, but I think this is better. All right, everything sounds much better. I don't sound like a robot this time. That is always a nice thing. So everyone, how are we doing? Wow, we got a good turnout already. 44 people in the chat. That is good to see. How are we doing on this fine Wednesday morning? We are one day away from Thanksgiving. I'm pretty excited, I can't lie. I quite enjoy Thanksgiving, but welcome to a special edition morning stream. Usually I'm doing this at around maybe 8 o'clock, 8:30 at night, and it is 11:15 in the morning here, and you guys know me. I need my coffee, and you know, I can't do anything in the morning without my coffee, you know. But we are good to go. Cheers to all of you for stopping by today. Hope you're all doing well. If you guys can hit that like button for me, that's going to help this get out to more baseball fans out there. And if you are just joining us, you have no idea what the heck is going on, hit that subscribe button. We're talking baseball here all the time, but I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces. Sports with AJ is here. Jackson is here. I saw Kira here earlier. Justin Polakowski is here. Orioles is here. Chester the Chicken Eater is here with an ice cream cone. What is going on, everyone? Again, I hope you're all doing well, but we have quite a bit of baseball news to get to. I was so tired last night. I worked on a video all day yesterday that I did post last night. If you have not seen it, it is a video on which on teams or on which players I think teams should sign, not predictions that I think they should sign. So if you haven't seen that yet, go check it out. It took me quite a while, and it took me a lot longer to make than I thought it would, and so I was just completely out of it last night. I had no energy last night, so I figured, you know what, why not? We can all wake up together, we can have some coffee together, and we can talk some baseball. But let's get to the big news of kind of what's been going on for the last couple of days, and that's Blake Snell. Blake Snell, it is now being rumored that the Rays are shopping him, and they're maybe looking to move on from a Blake Snell. So let's get this music off. So kind of what's been going on lately is a team has kind of jumped in to the fray here, and that's the Seattle Mariners. The Mariners are showing interest in a Blake Snell, and I think this could possibly be a pretty good fit. With the Mariners, they're looking to really get back into things. They have been trying to build from within for the past couple of years. They have some great prospects that should be fun to watch in the next few years, and you know, the Mariners are kind of inching closer to possibly getting into playoff contention. They have some young, exciting players. They got the Rookie of the Year in Kyle Lewis. There are some good things to like about this Mariners team, and it does not surprise me at all that they are looking into maybe acquiring the services of a Blake Snell, especially that contract. That contract is quite nice for Blake Snell. It is a very friendly contract. Any team would like to have that contract. In the last year of that contract, he is only going to be making $16 million. That is nuts, considering this is a guy that won the Cy Young Award, and Garrett Cole is going to be making $30+ million a year. Think about that for a second. So I'm just saying, you're getting Blake Snell, a Cy Young winner, at about half of what Garrett Cole costs. That's not bad. Again, let's get into this. Let me pull up the article where I was seeing it. So here we go. So reporting on this was Ryan Divish of the Seattle Times. So he was kind of writing yesterday where it would most likely cost, for a Blake Snell, it's most likely going to cost one of either a Kyle Lewis, a Jared Kelenic, or a Julio Rodriguez, which is not surprising to me at all. You're going to have to give up something pretty decent for a Blake Snell. He's not going to come cheap. With that kind of a contract, with that kind of talent that he has, sure, he is a bit of a rough around the edges kind of a guy where he's going to be a bit outspoken. You guys all remember last offseason where he was very kind of outspoken about the whole contract negotiations between the Players Association and Major League Baseball. That was kind of something where he didn't really make himself look all that great in the limelight. And then there was the whole thing during this, the postseason where he was kind of, complaining out loud about how he's being taken off of the mound. He was kind of showing up Kevin Cash a little bit. Rightfully so. I mean, he kind of had a right to be upset about being taken out of the game. I think we all were very upset that Blake Snell was getting taken out of that game against the Dodgers, which the Dodgers ended up winning and then ended up winning the World Series. But with Blake Snell, he did have a right to be upset. But kind of the problem that he was that was there was the fact that you're showing up your manager. You don't have to agree with your manager, but it's about being professional. Yes, they're playing a game, but at the end of the day, it is their job. They're getting paid millions of dollars. So to kind of act in that way, in a bit of an immature way, if you got a problem with it, go behind closed doors and you can go yell at him in his face, but don't do it on the field in front of millions of people watching at home. You don't want to do that. And so the Rays, I'm kind of wondering if they are just kind of ready to move on from a Blake Snell. They've been kind of putting up with some antics for the past year now. Who knows what else, it goes on with Blake Snell that we don't even know of. But again, so this, if you are the Mariners, you have to be intrigued, because if you're the Mariners, you're looking to really start trying to take a step forward in the next couple of years. They got some exciting players coming up. They got the Rookie of the Year. But to get a guy like Snell, it is going to cost them something. So a great website to go to is baseballtradevalues.com, one of my favorite websites to go to. And I thought we could possibly look at some scenarios here for a Blake Snell trade. So as you can see, Baseball Trade Values, they have a bit of an algorithm where they kind of set their values for each player. So as you can see here, Blake Snell has a pretty good value of 52.4. That is considered pretty high. The highest that you're going to get to on here is around like 250, and that's for someone like a Ronald Acuna, who that is going to be very, very difficult to get a guy like a Ronald Acuna. So 250 is like maxing it out pretty much. But you're going to see, for a very good player, for a very good pitcher like a Blake Snell, you're going to be seeing, something like around a 52.4. I believe Mookie Betts last year, he was right around this number. So let's take a look at kind of what it would take. So let's just say it's Blake Snell on the board. So if you're the Rays, when I think of the Rays, I think when I'm looking at kind of what they need, they really need a catcher. They really need a catcher, but they could also use an outfielder. They just let Hunter Renfroe go. So that could make possibly some sense to maybe, if you're going to be looking at someone like a Kyle Lewis. If we go take a look here, Kyle Lewis here has a value of 31.3. So that right there, as you can see, Blake Snell, some of you might disagree with this, where it's going to take more than a Kyle Lewis to get a Blake Snell, which kind of sounds crazy when you think about it. But in a way, Kyle Lewis did just have a breakout year, where Snell, he's been kind of doing this now for a few years. He's shown he can kind of hang in this game, in this league. So it's going to take more than a Kyle Lewis, at least on Baseball Trade Values, to get a Blake Snell. Now, I don't know if you could throw in, maybe you could throw in like a Justice Sheffield. I don't know if you're the Mariners, would you even consider, is that even worth it to get a guy like Blake Snell? Probably not. Maybe you could look at, someone, I don't know. What could you possibly do here? There's so many different options that you could do. Maybe you can go with Moore here. Third baseman. Maybe he could replace Wendell. So if we go take a look at the Mariners depth chart. All right, so with Moore, okay, so actually, wait, is he? Yeah, he is in the majors. Okay, so he's probably on their outfield depth. Where is he? Oh, Dylan Moore. So if we go take a look. All right, are we back? Sorry, everyone. We're having some technical difficulties. Can't even say the word. Technical difficulties this morning. All right, give me a thumbs up in the chat if everything is smoothed out. Are we doing good now? All right, looks on my end, it looks like we're doing all right. Sorry about that, everyone. All right, so yeah, we were taking a look at Dylan Moore. Dylan Moore could be someone where he could play some. He could, he can play some third base for the Rays. Maybe you can maybe include Joey Wendell in a deal like this. So that could be an option here. Maybe a Kyle Lewis and a Dylan Moore for a Blake Snell. That would be right. If you look at the values, that is almost as spot on as you can get. So, let's say if we take a look, I don't know if we maybe say, I mean, as you can see here, Julio Rodriguez, he has the most value in that Mariners organization, a 73.8 value. I mean, right there. So if we're going off of baseball trade values here, the Rays would have to give up more to get a guy like Julio Rodriguez. But I would think the Rays, they want to get something major league ready right now. They have a ton of prospects already. I don't think I don't think they would hate bringing in a guy like a Julio Rodriguez, but I don't think they really need more major league ready kind of guys. I don't know, you can maybe now look maybe towards like a Jared Kelenic, but as you can see here, a Jared Kelenic, he would be on this at least, he is worth more than a Blake Snell. So this is I don't know. It's a bit interesting. I think more players would have to be included here, whether or not you're kind of, adding some players in from the Rays side, adding some players in from the Mariners side. I don't know. This could end up maybe being a big deal. Now, sorry, the main guy here, now I don't think this is very likely, but the kind of maybe you could see a trade, which I don't think it's going to happen, but I don't know, maybe you could do a Kyle Lewis for a Blake Snell. Kyle Lewis and maybe like a bullpen guy or a starter or something. I don't know. So again, now sure, this website is giving me some numbers here. Am I going to go off of these numbers? No, I'm not. I'm not going to completely go off of these numbers. I don't agree with everything. As much as I like this website, I don't agree with everything that they say. There are some values on some guys where I'm like, that's a bit off. I don't agree with that. So, realistically, are you going to be doing this kind of a trade? Probably not. Why would the Mariners want to give up the guy that just won Rookie of the Year? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the Mariners front office is thinking. I don't know if maybe they really want to improve on that starting pitching. If we go take a look at FanGraphs from last year, so if we take a look at the team stats, when it came to pitching, starting pitching, I believe the Mariners actually weren't too bad. Oh, I don't want to be looking at the Twins. So if we're taking a look, oh my goodness, we're off to a rough start this morning. Maybe the morning streams aren't the best. I don't know. But if we take a look at the Mariners actually had the 10th best starting pitching last year. So the Mariners have some decent starting pitching already. Do they want to be giving up a guy like a Kyle Lewis for a Blake Snell? I don't really think that makes a whole lot of sense. You guy just won a Rookie of the Year. So if we take a look, hold on. Team stats. So when it came to offense, the Mariners overall, they ranked 21st. Well, actually, no, hold on. I'm not looking at offense. I take that back. They were 21st overall with offense and defense. But with offense, where were the Mariners? The Mariners were 19th. So really, the Mariners, in my opinion, I don't think they should be getting rid of their best offensive player for a guy like Blake Snell. Their starting pitching is already showing a lot of promise. Why would they want to give up offense, which they need? They need more offense. Why would you want to give up offense, your best offensive player, for a guy like Blake Snell? I don't really see it. I don't really see, let me go back to this article here. Ryan Divish of the Seattle Times saying it would take either a Kyle Lewis, a Jared Kelenic, or a Julio Rodriguez. I mean, Kyle Lewis, I don't think you're going to be giving up a Kyle Lewis if you're the Mariners. He's, like I said, he's your rookie of the year. He had a really good season. Do you really want to part with your best offensive player? Sure, you're getting a Blake Snell, but they already have some pretty decent starting pitching. So, and I'm not, in my personal opinion, I don't think the Mariners and the Rays are going to match up here. I don't know. I'm not really seeing it. I don't really think I think the Mariners can kind of look elsewhere. Sure, as an organization, it's only going to behoove you to kick the tires on a guy like Blake Snell. Hey, what's going on, guys? What would it take to get a Blake Snell? What do you think? All right, you got to give us either Kyle Lewis, Kelenic, or Rodriguez. Oh, okay, well, have a nice day. I think that's pretty much what it is. I don't think there's really much to it. It's fun to think about. Sure, it's fun to go on baseball trade values and play around with some trades. I think there are some much better trades out there for a Blake Snell. I don't think the Rays and the Mariners are going to match up on a trade. That's just my opinion. Tell me what you think down below. Do you think the Mariners and the Rays could be good trade partners? What do you think? Tell me down below. Do you think it's a thumbs up? Do you think it's a thumbs down? Personally, I'm going to give it a thumbs down. I just think there are better trades out there where the Rays are going to get things that they need. Sure, they would love a Kyle Lewis, but do the Mariners really want to give up a Kyle Lewis? I don't know. That it doesn't really make too much sense to me. So that's just my personal opinion. But I'm seeing here a couple of thumbs ups. I'm seeing a thumbs up from Coachy. Chester the Chicken Eater is just vomiting all over the place at this. Alrighty. So, but yeah, that's where I'm at right now with a Blake Snell to the Mariners. I'm not a big fan of the trade or the trade possibilities. I just don't think they match up all that well. So that's just me. But we're going to move on to our next bit of news. So another person out there is now starting to get rumored to possibly be in some trade talks, and that is Carlos Correa. His name has come up before in some trade possibilities for the Astros. Sorry about that. I had to take a sip of my coffee real quick, but this is also interesting. The Astros, to me, they're in a bit of a weird spot right now. The Astros are kind of in this spot where, they don't have too much in the farm system. They got a lot of guys that are, they got a lot of talent on that main roster. You're not going to have Verlander for most of this coming year. Are you going to have Verlander for this coming year? I'm not really sure. Zach Greinke's not getting any younger. I mean, there's a lot of different things here for the Astros to consider. I mean, could you get a pretty good amount for a Carlos Correa? I think you could. But then again, I can also see where teams may not want to give up for a lot for Carlos Correa. This is a guy that's been hurt a lot in his career. He's missed a lot of time. He wasn't really having that great of a season this year until the postseason. He really caught fire then. But let's go to the article where where I was looking at this. Hold on a second. So here we go. Let's share the screen. But here we go. So, where is the article? Oh, come on. I had the article up here. Where did it go? All right, let's go to this one. So here we go. So it was yesterday. At 11:39, the Astros are floating Carlos Correa's name in trade talks with other teams. This was according to Ken Rosenthal. Ken Rosenthal, a very good source if you ever need to get your news for baseball. This is a guy to go to. Ken Rosenthal is pretty solid, if you ask me. So the thing with Carlos Correa, again, like I mentioned, is he's just been hurt a lot. And is a team really going to want to bring him on? I mean, sure, I think a team could bite at someone like a Carlos Correa. Let me actually pull up his stats real quick from last year. Alrighty, so Carlos Correa, again, it wasn't really a great year. I mean, it wasn't a bad year by any means, but it's not the best year from a Carlos Correa that you would imagine. He only hit .264, he had 5 homers, he only had an OPS of .709. Granted, this was 60 games. I mean, who knows how this would have turned out in a full 162-game season. But he really caught fire in the postseason. That's where he really started to really turn it up a notch. So he was just going crazy. He was in that series against the Twins. He had himself a few hits. He had a home run. In that division series, he was hitting very well. Hit 500 in that series. He went 7 for 14. In that ALCS, he had himself a couple of home runs, a couple of big home runs too. So, Carlos Correa, this is a guy that does have a lot of talent. Now, the problem with Correa, like I said, he tends to have a lot of injuries. Every year, he seems to be just missing time. So if we actually go take a look here. He's only had one season where he practically played a full season, 153 games in 2016. Every other year, just not, I mean, especially since then, 109 games in 2017, 110 in 2018, 75 in 2019. I mean, during those games, he hits well. This is a guy that, 2018 was a bit of a struggle for him. He only had a 728 OPS, but look at 2019, a 926 OPS, a 941 OPS in 2017. When he's healthy, he's as good as it gets at shortstop. But is he going to be healthy? That's the problem. He in a 60-game season this year, he did pretty good when it came to his health. But then, I don't know, the offense wasn't all quite there. Who knows if he was really missing the trash cans? I'm not quite sure. But I don't know. Carlos Correa, but if I were to make a prediction right now, I don't think a Carlos Correa would get traded. I just don't see it. If you're thinking of some teams that could use a shortstop, the Reds need a shortstop. They really need some offense. Maybe they could look into a Carlos Correa. Possibly, I don't know. Could you imagine the Yankees getting in on a Carlos Correa? That would be interesting if you ask me. If we take a look here at shortstop production offensively, let's see. So teams that really could use a shortstop, like I said, the Reds were pretty bad. Cubs, they still got Baez. They're looking to make a trade for Baez, possibly. Rangers, I don't think you could see get in on it. Not the Twins. I don't know. There's not really much. Could you see the Blue Jays? That would be interesting. Maybe move Bo Bichette over to third. The Yankees, that could be interesting. And maybe they don't bring back a LeMahieu. They slide Torres over to second base. Could you imagine Carlos Correa with the Yankees? That would be pretty interesting if you ask me. Maybe the Phillies. I don't know. I don't really see much. Again, I don't think teams are really gonna go crazy for Carlos Correa. Sure, I think you could have a Carlos Correa get you a couple of pretty good prospects back. He still has a lot of value. It's just the problem is, are teams going to want to give up a lot for a Carlos Correa just because the health is questionable? It's not even just the health too. He was involved with the whole cheating scandal with the Astros. He's very outspoken about it. This is a guy that has been digging his feet into the ground about the whole cheating scandal. So, he's outspoken about it. He's been doing the little ear thing. He was playing the role of the villain, and he was embracing it. So in a way, I can kind of respect that. But at the end of the day, though, I don't think you're going to see a Carlos Correa trade. I think you could see some teams kick the tires, but I think realistically at the end of the day, I don't think you're going to see a trade of Carlos Correa. So that's just my opinion. Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you think Carlos Correa could be traded this offseason, or give me a thumbs down. I'm going with a thumbs down right now. I'm not quite seeing it. That's just my opinion. But let's see what you all think. Thumbs up in the chat if you think Carlos Correa could get traded this offseason, or give me a thumbs down. I'm seeing a thumbs down from Hayden. Let's see some more, everyone. Let's see. What do you all think? I need some more thumbs ups and thumbs downs. Jake with a no. Jesse with a no. Matthew with a no. Red Sox baseball in the middle. Chester is once again vomiting at this idea. He doesn't think Carlos Correa is going anywhere. Nick Burton is kind of a maybe. So Ben, he's saying no, not getting traded. All right, but yeah, I think we can all agree for the most part. Most likely, you're not going to see a Carlos Correa get traded. I think there's too many circumstances to where you're going to see a good fit. So, all right, moving on to our next story. So our next story here, we could possibly be seeing the return of one of the most electric players in the game at one point, and that is Yasiel Puig. And even my Red Sox are starting to kick the tires a little bit on Yasiel Puig. This is someone we did not see this past year. I believe he tested positive for COVID. It was that I think that's what happened with him. And then I think he had a deal with the Braves at one point. I can't fully remember. I think it was the Braves. And that deal ended up falling through. And then we just never saw Yasiel Puig ever again. So, but now you're starting to see his name come up. And I think for good reason. I think a lot of teams, they're looking at a guy like a Yasiel Puig, and they're seeing someone that's not going to cost too much. He'll bring you a little bit of everything. He'll bring you a little bit of power, a little bit of average. He'll get on base a little bit. He's going to bring some energy to the clubhouse a little bit. He's not going to be terrible on your team by any means, but he is not going to be like a transcendent kind of a guy. Let's take a look at the stats for Yasiel Puig. Taking a look. I hate that the stats don't just pop up for me. Baseball Reference. Here we go. But man, Yasiel Puig, man, when he came up with the Dodgers those first couple of years, this guy was crazy. He was one of the more fun players in the game back in 2013. This guy was nuts. He was just doing everything, it seemed. But now, as we kind of get later on into his career, not really doing too much. He actually did pretty well with the Indians last year, or not last year, and back in 2019. He actually did okay. He hit 297. He had a couple homers, 23 RBIs, had an 800 OPS. Not bad for a guy to just kind of stick out in left or right field. He was he was productive for the most part. He wasn't bringing the team down at all. Cincinnati, though, wasn't really doing too much. Before he went to the Indians, not really much, hitting 252. Yeah, well, he did have some power. That was one thing. He is going to bring you some power. So he's not going to be like, he's not going to change your team. He's not going to be a transcendent player for your team, but he could be a pretty solid guy for cheap. And so Yasiel Puig, I think he still has something to offer. He's had a whole season now basically to get his body right, he's fresh. Who knows what kind of shape he's in. He's always been pretty in shape. I would imagine coming into this year for 2021, he's going to be in good shape. I would imagine he's had all the time in the world. But if we go take a look at the article real quick. So what I find interesting about it is that Yasiel Puig is getting interest from the Red Sox. So it was MLB.com's Mark Feinsand who was reporting this. He was saying the Astros, the Orioles, and the Red Sox are among the teams that have Puig on their radar. And I remember the Red Sox last offseason, they were looking into Yasiel Puig. I'll be honest, I would not be surprised to see a Yasiel Puig come to the Red Sox because he's going to be cheap. Chaim Bloom loves himself a bargain deal. If he can get a good amount of production from a Yasiel Puig for a couple of $1 million, that sounds like a Yasiel Puig, that sounds like a Chaim Bloom kind of a move. That is something where I could absolutely see Chaim Bloom doing this. I could really see it. The Red Sox, they had not a good year last year. There was just, not the city of Boston was not happy with this Red Sox team this past year. Sure, I think everyone can move on. It's kind of a throwaway kind of a year. You didn't have Mookie. You're going through a bit of a bridge year. So I think Puig, he could bring some energy to this team. He would go in left. You would have Benintendi move over to center. You'd have Verdugo out in right. And then you could have Puig out in left. How would he do playing the Green Monster? I'm sure he would figure it out. Honestly, Yasiel Puig kind of, in a way, gives me some Manny Ramirez kind of vibes. Not Manny Ramirez talent level, but kind of just like that what's the word I'm thinking of? That goofy guy, like playing out in left field with the monster. In a way, he kind of reminds me of a Manny Ramirez out there. Just with the personality is what I'm saying. So I think that is something you could definitely see. I would not be surprised to see the Red Sox get a Yasiel Puig. I think the Astros would be a good fit for him. Who knows what's going to happen with Michael Brantley. Michael Brantley could end up going back, but they're going to be losing Springer. So maybe Puig would be a good fit in Houston. I could see the Orioles, a team that is trying to inch their way closer back into playoff contention. I still think they're a bit away, but maybe a Yasiel Puig can help lift up that offense a little bit. I could see Puig on any of these teams. I mean, would I hate Yasiel Puig coming to the Red Sox? I wouldn't hate it. I would not hate it. Why? Because it's not going to cost you a lot of money. And he's going to be decent. Like, he's not going to... I mean, again, you know what you're getting with a Yasiel Puig. He's going to bring you some production. Now, is he going to be like this crazy, like George Springer kind of a bat to add to your lineup? Probably not. I mean, not even want to say probably. He will not be that kind of a bat. But, hey, he could be a fun player to bring into Boston. Who knows? Maybe he ends up doing pretty well with that Green Monster. I haven't looked at his stats really with Fenway Park. Actually, we can go take a look at some splits real quick for his career. How has he done? We can actually take a look. Here we go. Okay, ballparks. So taking a look, Fenway Park. I don't remember Yasiel Puig playing too much at Fenway Park. Where is he? Has he ever played at Fenway Park? I don't think he's played at Fenway. He has not played at Fenway Park. Really? That's interesting. I thought he did. Huh, interesting. So I don't know what he would do at Fenway Park. I would imagine, he's a right-handed bat. He could maybe do well with that monster. I don't know. I think it could be pretty good. But if we take a look in Houston, how has he done with Houston? I mean, not really too much in Houston, just a few at-bats, hit 375 there. How about Baltimore? Has he even played in Baltimore? Where has this guy even played? He hasn't even played in Baltimore. So, I don't know. It'd be interesting. I think wherever he goes, he's going to bring some energy to that team. He's going to give you some offense, and he's going to be cheap. And that's what I think a lot of teams... That's what they're looking for this offseason. They're looking for bargains. They're looking for some guys that they can get some production out of without breaking the bank. So what do you think about Yasiel Puig possibly joining the Red Sox, possibly joining the Orioles, possibly joining the Astros? Maybe another team out there could use his services. What do you think? Tell me in the chat down below. We have 91 people in the chat right now. That is fantastic. I didn't think we were going to get that many people in here. I thought, it's a Wednesday morning. I know most people are not in school this week, and maybe some people have the day off from work today. So I want to thank you for coming in today. 84 people in the chat right now. If you are just coming in, consider subscribing down below. We're talking baseball here all the time. If you can, hit that thumbs up for me to help get more baseball fans in here. Also, I just posted a video yesterday. If you have not seen it, make sure to go check it out. It is a video that I made yesterday on which players each team should sign. So they weren't predictions by any means, but just my opinions on what player would be a good fit for each team. So go take a look at that. So let's move on to the next bit of news. This one's not really surprising, but JT Realmuto, the Blue Jays, taking a look at JT Realmuto, kicking the tires a little bit, checking in, calling the agent, saying, hey, what's going on with JT Realmuto? What's the money looking like? What are we looking at here? So JT Realmuto, this could be interesting if the Blue Jays were to get kind of serious with this. They have a catcher already in Danny Jansen. But while I do like Danny Jansen, I love the defense that he brings. JT Realmuto is going to bring some good defense as well, but he's going to bring a bat as well. Danny Jansen hasn't really woken up with the bat yet. So this could be a move. The Blue Jays, I keep saying there's these teams out there that are trying to, make a move into getting back into playoff contention. The Blue Jays are like this close. They're like a couple of pieces away. JT Realmuto on the Blue Jays, that's fun to me. Like, that would be a really fun move. So let me actually go to the article here where it was being talked about. So right now, it was yesterday. Toronto also has interest in JT Realmuto, according to Sports Grid's Craig Mish. I've never heard of Sports Grids. While the Jays have a fair amount of catching depth already on hand, Realmuto would obviously present a big upgrade over current starter Danny Jansen and backup Reese McGuire. They also have a top prospect in Alejandro Kirk. So what this could do for the Blue Jays, if they were willing to spend the money that it's going to take for JT Realmuto, it's going to be a pretty penny to bring him in. I don't know. The Blue Jays, they're one of those teams. They don't really spend a lot of money. So I'm not really looking too much into this. I think, again, this is a kicking the tires kind of a move. But JT Realmuto, this would be huge for the Blue Jays if they made this kind of a move. I don't know. But it would make a guy like a Danny Jansen expendable. Teams could use some catchers out there. Maybe the Rays could possibly get a guy like Danny Jansen if JT Realmuto signed with the Blue Jays, and you got Alejandro Kirk. Teams could always use another catching prospect. So this is going to take a lot of money to bring in a JT Realmuto, and I don't know if the Blue Jays are going to have that kind of money. Again, they don't really seem to sign these kind of guys to big deals. They're kind of like the Braves, where they'll spend some money, but they're not going to spend a ton of money. So tell me what you think in the chat down below. Do you think JT Realmuto to the Blue Jays could be a pretty realistic move? Me personally, I don't think so. But what do I know? I don't know anything. So tell me in the chat down below, do you think this could be a move that we could see? Do you think this would be a good fit? I think it would be a great fit. I think it would be huge for the Blue Jays to bring this in, to bring in a guy like JT Realmuto. Joshua Lubchinsky says, not a chance. I would love to see it. I really would. JT Realmuto to the Twins. That could be interesting too. Hey, Justin Carden just subscribed. What is going on, my friend? Welcome to the channel. Cheers to you, my friend. Cheers to you. Realmuto to the Cubs. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that. Realmuto in a Cubs uniform could be fun. I mean, honestly, ready to play 15. Realmuto on the Tampa Bay Rays would be a perfect fit. But unfortunately, the Rays, they make, I don't know, what do they even make every single game? What kind of revenue do they even bring in for all their games? Like what, $20? So, Joshua Lubchinsky, cheers to you, my friend. Cheers to you. So, Gavin Becker has just subscribed. What is going on, my friend? Welcome, welcome. So, but yeah, I think JT Realmuto to the Blue Jays, I don't think there's really too much there. I think that's more of a kicking the tires kind of a thing. You guys have to remember, teams, they like to just make some phone calls. They got to gauge the market. They got to see what's going on in the market. They're going to make random phone calls all the time for certain players that they're probably not even going to be able to afford. But you got to do your due diligence, and you got to get out there, and you got to make phone calls because you got to see what's going on in that market. So Ethan Lobaton has just subscribed. What is going on, my friend? Cheers to you, my friend, for subscribing. But yeah, we're actually drawing closer to 4,000 subscribers. The anniversary of this channel is coming up in about 2 weeks. The 1-year anniversary of this channel is in 2 weeks. Could we get to 4,000 subscribers within 1 year? We're getting close. We're within a few hundred, so we shall see. But moving on to the next bit of news, an old friend of mine, Eric Jansen, has just subscribed. Cheers to you, my friend. What's going on? How are we doing? Oh, Elliot Rivera, cheers to you, my friend, for subscribing. I appreciate that. Welcome to the channel. But here we go. An old friend is in the news. A guy that I love, Jon Lester, getting interest from the San Francisco Giants. Now, I could actually see this happening. I think this could be a move that you could see. The Giants kind of like to bring in these guys on, these kind of cheaper deals. So Jon Lester, to me, would be a good fit. They could use some more starting pitching. I don't think he's going to cost a ton. I think he's going to cost something because Jon Lester is Jon Lester. Sure, he had a down year this past year, but Jon Lester is a workhorse. He's going to give you innings. He's going to bring veteran leadership into that clubhouse. I think Jon Lester on the Giants could be a pretty good fit. And let's come back here. So yeah, Jon Lester, I think, could be a very good fit with the Giants. Going to the article where I was reading about this, this was John Morosi. The Giants, hold on, let me share the screen. The Giants have interest in left-hander Jon Lester, according to MLB Network's John Morosi. Lester entered free agency after the Cubs bought him out for $10 million rather than exercise a $25 million club option. So he was also saying this isn't the first time Lester has been connected to the Giants. So the Giants, for those of you that don't remember, you didn't really hear too much about this, but the Giants were involved. I remember hearing about the Giants because I was very, very connected to the Jon Lester, that whole thing back in 2015 when he signed, or after 2014, sorry. And because I really wanted the Red Sox to re-sign him. They had traded him to the Athletics during that 2014 season at the trade deadline. And then he became a free agent, and I was really wanting the Red Sox to bring him back. I was praying they were going to bring him back. I remember getting the notification that he was signing with the Cubs, and just like with Mookie Betts, I cry myself to sleep every night over that. There are still some nights where I cry myself to sleep over Jon Lester. I thought that was such a goof on the Red Sox to not. They offered him such a bad contract extension after the 2013 season. They offered him like a 4-year, $70 million deal. That was terrible. Yeah, so I was very bummed out when he didn't come back to the Red Sox. But when he did sign with the Cubs during that time, I remember the Giants coming up in those conversations. So they were in on Jon Lester at that time. And so it's no surprise here to see them back into these conversations where now they're going to be able to probably get him for, well, not probably, but they will be able to get him for a lot cheaper. If we go take a look at Jon Lester real quick. So Jon Lester, if you take a look at the stats, not a good year last year. Again, it was only 12 starts, but that's one thing about Jon Lester that you're going to be getting. You're going to be getting all the starts from him. He does not miss starts. This is a guy that comes out to the mound every single turn. He never misses a turn in the rotation. If he does, it's once in a blue moon. You know you're going to get innings from him. You know you're going to get just consistency with Jon Lester. Sure, a pretty high ERA this past year. The FIP was also pretty high. Just not a good year from Lester. He got off to a good start. I remember he was doing pretty good through a few starts, but then he kind of just started to get hit pretty hard. But if you go back to 2019, I mean, he had a pretty good, not a great year by any means, but an average year, a third or fourth starter kind of a year. 4.46 ERA, 4.26 FIP, strikeouts per 9 were still pretty good. So the Giants, if they were to bring in a guy like Jon Lester, that rotation is actually not looking too bad at that point. If Jon Lester can kind of get back into being Jon Lester a little bit, you would have a rotation. If we go take a look at the Giants, they did just lose Drew Smyly. So that's also not surprising for the Giants to be looking into a pitcher after just losing a Drew Smyly. But San Francisco Giants depth chart. So right now, let's take a look at what they have. when it comes to starting pitching. No ESPN. I don't want to look at you. Here we go. Depth chart. So yeah, as of right now, so you got Johnny Cueto. I mean, he's, he didn't really have a great year himself, but he just was coming back from Tommy John, so maybe you could see a better year from Johnny Cueto. They did just bring back Kevin Gausman. I thought that was a great move. I thought the Giants needed to do that. But then you got, guys like Logan Webb, Tyler Anderson. Jeff Samardzija is not going to be coming back. So I think Jon Lester could actually be a great fit. I think it could be a great fit, honestly. I think this would be a good fit. It just depends. Is he going to want to go out to the West Coast? He's towards the end of his career. He did grow up in Seattle, so I don't know. Is that something he's kind of considering? I don't know where he lives in the offseason. So I don't know if San Francisco is a place he would want to go to. I don't know. This is going to be interesting. I think like I said for a few times now, I think this could be a really good fit. I think the Giants. Nick Plays has just subscribed. Welcome to the channel, my friend. Cheers to you. So, but what do you all think about Jon Lester possibly going to the San Francisco Giants? I think this would be a good move. I think this would be a great move. Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you think so. Give me a thumbs down if you don't think this would be a good fit. So, Nick Plays, what's up, my friend? How we doing? Pro Baseball Radar, allow DMs on your Twitter. I think that you can DM me on Twitter. I think. I don't really use Twitter all that much. At least lately, I have not been using Twitter all that much. But yeah, if you're trying to shoot me a message on there. Alexi Hidalgo Guerra has just subscribed. Cheers to you, my friend. What's going on? So Chester the Chicken Eater was vomiting at first at this idea. Then he was kind of thinking about it. And then he feels happy about it. So Chester the Chicken Eater has gained the approval of Jon Lester going to the Giants. Will Dubs doesn't like it. Elliot Rivera, with the thumbs up. Oh, Pro Baseball Radar. I'll go fix that for you. I don't know why that's off, because I've had people DM me on Twitter before. So Murder Tank has just subscribed. Cheers to you, my friend. Welcome. So Danny Dorito, you think Lester stays in Chicago? I definitely think that could happen as well. Kira Lester to the Rays. Could you imagine Jon Lester on the Tampa Bay Rays? I don't think they're gonna have the money for it, but yeah, that's where I'm at right now with Jon Lester. I think if he went to the Giants, I think that would be a good move. The Giants were pretty close to contention this past year. I mean, it was the COVID playoffs, so there were 8 teams getting in for the National League. The Giants just missed out on the 8th spot. Maybe Jon Lester could have changed that for them. Maybe with a Jon Lester, you could have maybe got in. I don't know. He didn't really have that great of a year anyway, so who knows if he would have done much for the Giants. But hey, who knows? Maybe if he comes over. And also, you have to remember, it's a pitcher's ballpark, so maybe Jon Lester would be interested in that aspect as well. That could maybe help him out a little bit as he kind of gets towards the end of his career. He maybe is thinking about that ballpark. Be like, maybe this could actually be a good fit for me. Maybe this will help out my stats a little bit. So, Mr. Blaine has just subscribed. Welcome to the channel. Cheers to you, my friend. So, Button Plays, you are new to the channel as well. Cheers to you, my friend. Welcome. Man, we are growing at a pretty good rate with this channel. I appreciate everyone subscribing. I appreciate everyone coming out. 113 people right now. That's crazy. I didn't think we would have this many people this morning. I thought we would maybe have like 40 people or something, maybe 30, maybe 50. I don't know. But wow, what a turnout this morning. Thank you all for coming out today. But we're getting towards the end here. One more story to go over here. And we have Sonny Gray. I think this is crazy. This is weird to me. The Reds open to trading Sonny Gray. Again, I've been using the term kicking the tires a lot in this stream. I think this is more of a kicking the tires kind of a thing. I don't think there is really too much to this. I think with the Reds, you're probably not going to be getting a Trevor Bauer back. Who knows? Maybe he goes back to Cincinnati. Who knows? But I don't know if they're going to have the money for him. I don't know. But Sonny Gray, if you lose a Trevor Bauer and now you're thinking, or maybe not thinking too heavily into trading a Sonny Gray, but you're at least open to it. I think when you're an organization, I think it's good to look into things, to kind of see, like I said, you got to kind of gauge the market a little bit. You got to see what's out there. But a Sonny Gray, this is a guy where he has pitched very well for you the last couple of years. And if you lose a Trevor Bauer, to me, I'm not talking Sonny Gray at all with anyone. I mean, he had a really good year last year. If we take a look, let's actually look at the article real quick. Where is that article? Hold on. Let's go to the Reds. Hold on. Reds. So Reds open to offers for Sonny Gray. Now, this is according to Ken Rosenthal, so there's got to be something to it. Ken Rosenthal, he's got the scoop, but he was saying it looks more like the Reds are just performing their own due diligence, and they're just listening to offers on Sonny Gray. So again, this is a key sentence right here. It's important to note that there's no indication Cincinnati is actively shopping Gray. Now, again, that's what I basically said right here. They're not actively shopping him. I don't see why you would be actively shopping one of your better starting pitchers. Sonny Gray was pretty good last year, and he was pretty good the last couple of years overall for the Reds. He's been a good fit there. He had a really good year in 2019. He had a good year last year. He made all of his starts. I mean, look at the FIP, a 3.05 compared to the ERA of a 3.70, so he pitched better than the ERA suggests. He had a good amount of strikeouts per 9. I don't see why, if you're the Reds, why would you want to trade a Sonny Gray? And again, they did indicate in the article that it was more of like doing a due diligence kind of a thing. And I respect that. I think that's fine. But you got to hang on to a Sonny Gray. I don't see, if we go to a baseballtradevalues.com, we can actually, no, not Fangraphs. Let's actually take a look at Sonny Gray. What is his value right now? Trade Simulator. Here we go. Reds. I would imagine Sonny Gray has a decent amount of value. So, yeah, 36.9. So, he's gonna cost something. I think his value is a bit higher when it comes to this, but what they're saying 36.9. I would say he's definitely higher than that if you ask me. He has been really good for the Reds. I don't see why, if you're the Reds, there's any reason to trade him, especially if you're going to lose Bauer. I don't see it. Oh, Cole Coleman, thank you for subscribing. Cheers to you, my friend. So, again, this is a kicking the tires kind of a move. I don't think the Reds are going to do anything with a Sonny Gray. If you're going to lose a Trevor Bauer, the fact that you have a Luis Castillo and a Sonny Gray, I think you're still in a good spot if you're the Reds. I think if you bring in another free agent starter, you can have Castillo and Sonny Gray as your 1-2. You can bring in a guy on the cheap. I think the Reds are still going to be in a good spot for next year. I think where the Reds really need for that money for Bauer, if they're not going to get a Trevor Bauer back, I think you got to bring in some offense. You got to improve that offense. And I think if you can bring in a cheaper starting pitcher than a Trevor Bauer, I think the Reds could still be in really good shape next year, but that is just my opinion. Tell me what you think down below in the chat. Liam Callahan just subscribed. Cheers to you, my friend. Welcome to the channel. We're getting a lot of subscribers during this stream, so thank you, everyone. But yeah, everyone, what do you all think about Sonny Gray? I think he's going to stay with the Reds. That's just my opinion. Wow, how do we say this name? JS06HL781904 Aaron Central Center MS just subscribed. Welcome to the channel, my friend. Cheers to you. But yeah, Baseball Ben, he's going to stay in Cincinnati. I don't see, Jancic Shipfroy, I think the last couple of years, Sonny Gray is an interesting one because he is one of these guys where he does better in certain environments. With the Yankees, he was really bad. He was not good with the Yankees. But with the Reds, he has done pretty well. So the strikeouts per 9 prove it. He gets a lot of strikeouts. The ERA is good. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Sonny Gray. I think if you're the Reds, you hang on to him. You get some offense. You still got some pretty good starting pitching. Get an arm for the bullpen. I think the Reds could still be a really good team next year, even without a Trevor Bauer. So we all saw it in the playoffs. Sure, Trevor Bauer pitched his butt cheeks off in that game against the Braves. But really the problem was was the offense. They didn't have the offense, so they really need some offense. Frank Domino has just subscribed. What is going on? How are we doing? Cheers to you, my friends. So, everyone, that's the news that I have for this morning. I might be back later today. If any other news comes up, I will be back right here. So, be on the lookout for another stream, possibly later today. I'm not guaranteeing it. But that's all I have for today, everyone. I want to thank you all for coming out this morning. Well, actually, now it's the afternoon. So, yeah. Alrighty. But I got to get out of here. Everyone, thank you again for coming out. And I will talk to you next time. See you later.